Hello and welcome to Mzansi back. It is a time where we have to slowly deliberate on what happened in that court, if anything happened at all. And as you can see, in a very shocking twist of things that everyone would have ruled out, we are here, and we are here to report on something different. Instead of heads of argument, it seems as if we are in this journey now, and this is a very interesting turn of things, which seems as if you ask me, the defense is coming hard on the states, and they are shocked. If you saw, and if you see exactly what happened, what is happening in that court, it is shocking, and you should be shocked as a defense, because wow, when you thought you have closed this simple looking thing, and all of a sudden you start seeing things coming in this manner. Very exciting turn of events. Very, I would say, something that was initially expected, but it has changed now to be something that is used as a weapon. If you ask me, it is something that was unexpected, something that took the state, I think, off guard, and they're surprised. They don't know what hit them. And before we continue, as I promised, that I would make sure that I say this. We're going to refrain from anything that has been happening anywhere else. We're not going to talk about that, and we ask our audience not to, because we are only using what we call public opinion. We do not use anything else coming from someone, somewhere. And please, for the respect of this channel, and we have a reason for that, let us not even go to that direction of asking questions that are happening somewhere else. We do that on purpose. As we're saying, and we keep on saying, we are a court of public opinion on the basis on things that are happening in that manner. When we get them in a public space, yes, we are not journalists. We are in no way form of journalists. So that's why we do not follow people and people that are involved in this thing. We do not do that. And it is on purpose. So as we do whatever that we do, we are going to confine ourselves into what happened in court. And I repeat, what happened in that court. And we are going to put our opinion on what happened in that court. Not noise coming from outside. We will close our ears. And as such, if you bring that, we will definitely ignore you. And not that we disrespect you, but in respect of what we have just said now. Emily, greetings.
Okay, hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. It's been such a long time. It feels like a long time, but I'm glad to be back. Yes, the court proceedings took place today, and I must say I'm very happy. I remember when they closed with no witnesses, I had a problem with it.
Yes.
I was bothered by it because I felt like the case that they have presented is not strong enough.
Without witnesses.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not strong enough. Yes, we'd like to believe the accused, but this is a court. Okay, it's their word against the state's word. And with the state, we've seen how many witnesses have come to testify. In fact, Mr. Mngomezulu was mentioning that it's 18 witnesses that have testified against the word of 2 people that are saying, this happened to me, this happened to me.
Yes.
None of those 18 witnesses supported what the accused were saying. In fact, they made them look like liars, even though the AVL proves otherwise. But they still maintained their story, and you can clearly see that the state is protecting itself, right? So they needed something a little bit more coming from the accused side. And I'm happy that they are calling on witnesses, even though those witnesses are part of the police. But we are kind of hopeful that these police, they take their jobs seriously, and they will have enough respect for South Africans to not try to deviate or to dodge or to protect anyone. In fact, these people are highly ranked in the police service, so it matters. Their positions matter. So I'm thrilled at it. I'm happy that someone is coming to become a witness and to testify, and is being summoned by the defense instead of the state. I'm happy about that, because last time I wasn't so happy. I felt like more could be done. I felt like we needed more. You know, this is a court at the end of the day. We can't just go by hearsay. Because according to the court, accused number 1 and number 2's versions are just hearsay, especially if there's no witnesses to come and support what they're saying. Although I'm kind of worried when I heard Advocate Mshololo say that the witnesses that Mr. Mngomezulu plans on calling, they had discussed they were going to call them in the main trial. And now he's bringing them into this trial within a trial. What could that mean? Could that mean that this is over? Could it mean that perhaps this is a bigger strategy here that most of us are not aware of? Can it be that maybe they are pushing to close this case? I don't know. Or maybe they will be called again in the main trial. There's nothing stopping them from being called again, because even these witnesses that were testifying the trial within a trial, some of them are going to testify in the main trial again. Your Brigadier Kininda, for example, I don't see any hindrance in him being called again in the main trial. He will have to testify again just to close up the case. So there's nothing, I feel like, stopping them from testifying in the trial within a trial, and there's nothing also that will be stopping them from testifying in the main trial. But I could be wrong. All the lawyers in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong. So we are still on the journey of determining the admissibility of the alleged confessions made by accused number 1 and 2. So closing arguments were expected to take place today, but instead of that happening, the defense asked to meet with the judge in the chambers. And I became kind of worried, I became kind of worried because it was quite a long break, and the journalists were reporting that in between that, the lawyers actually came back to the court, and then they had to go out again because the judge still wanted to discuss what was going on. It seemed like a long conversation, and it made me quite uneasy as I was watching. But then Sipho Ramasepeli for accused number 1 and 2 said that the issue cannot be canvassed in an open court. So court adjourned as both parties went to meet with the judge. So Advocate Mngomezulu submitted after they came back that after the consultation with accused person, it has been made clear that accused number 1, that the Legal Aid Board has made a final decision that he will not be paid for the work that he has done since he started the work in the trial within a trial. Now, you all remember that Advocate Mngomezulu, or rather Mr. Mngomezulu, was recruited for the trial within a trial because he came later. After the first appearance of the trial within a trial, Mr. Ramasepeli kind of recruited him and came with him on the second court appearance of the trial within a trial. And that's when he started being on the Senzo Meyiwa trial. It was because of the trial within a trial. And we all remember how Mr. Ramasipili was so frazzled at the first day because it seemed like he didn't know how to navigate. For him, it seemed like it was faster paced, you know. The court appearance he was not really prepared on that day. And it seemed like it was in a rush. So the next court appearance, he appeared with Mr. Mngomezulu, and Mr. Mngomezulu took it from there. And it's been a good 3 months. It's been a good 3 months of this whole appearance. So he said that over the weekend, he's been having communication with accused number 1 and 2. And subsequent to that, he said that he was called by the uncle of accused number 1, who indicated to him that he still required his services and they would rather terminate the services of Legal Aid Board and instruct him privately. So in other words, pay him privately. And that has been discussed with accused number 1 and Mr. Ramasipili. So the judge asked, with effect from when will he be representing accused number 1? And Mngomezulu said that from today. The judge asked Mr. Muzi Sbiya if he can confirm that he did, that is what happened, and he did confirm that he's terminating the mandate of the Legal Aid Board. But the judge was not happy with how he was phrasing it. Did you notice that, Mr. Anonymous?
Yes.
The judge kind of swayed this whole thing to be like, it's no longer about the Legal Aid Board not paying Mr. Mngomezulu. And I don't understand, by the way, why the Legal Aid Board does not want to pay him. That doesn't not make sense to me. It's something that the Legal Aid Board has to explain to us because I'm frazzled. I don't understand. And Mr. Ramasipili has been paid by the Legal Aid Board all along, or was he wrong for recruiting Mr. Mngomezulu? I don't understand that whole payment situation. So the judge did not also care much for the payment situation, that here's this lawyer who's been appearing in front of us for a couple of months and he's not getting paid. I thought that judges were more concerned as to whether legal representation was getting paid or not. Yes. I thought it was a concern, but Mr. Mokgotleng didn't seem to really care much.
Yes.
So yeah, and the judge swayed this whole thing because Muzi Sbiya was like, I'm terminating the services of Legal Aid Board, right? And then the judge told him that he is terminating the mandate of Mr. Ramasipili. And I'm like, okay, that is going totally in a different direction. But then he was forced to emphasize that he's terminating the services of Mr. Ramasipili, who represents the Legal Aid Board in this instance, in my opinion. So I felt like, okay, he's looking for a headline. And a headline he did get because the media now went with Mr. Sbiya fired Mr. Ramasipili.
Yeah. Which, if you ask me, it is not something like that. It is not that Ramasipili was fired, but it is such that knowing that Ramasipili was not actually good or didn't show the signs of being good when it comes to a trial within a trial. I think he's never traversed to that direction.
Yes.
He's learning.
He's learning.
From Mngomezulu. There's the most who are there learning also.
Yes.
So it's not a problem.
Hey, but the way they phrase it, it's like a highlight of the day. It's like a headline today with every single media publication. It's like, he fired Mr. Ramasipili. But Mr. Ramasipili was fired by accused number 1. I'm like, but that's not exactly... He didn't get paid, Mr. Mngomezulu. And Muzi Sbiya is like, I need Mr. Mngomezulu more than I need Mr. Ramasipili right now. And I'm insisting that Mr. Mngomezulu stays. But then how the situation is, I cannot afford to pay both of them. So I would rather pay for Mr. Mngomezulu. That's more like what is happening in this situation.
Yes.
But the way it's been made out is being made out like Mr. Ramasipili is this terrible, terrible lawyer who just got fired. And that's not really the case.
I hear many people saying that why Mngomezulu is calling this police, where they're going to help with the confession. I hear many saying that.
Okay, let me travel to that part. So Muzi then said, yes, my lord, and I'll be represented by Advocate Mngomezulu. Ramasipili said that he confirms and that he has been communicating with him and that he will only be proceeding with accused number 1 or number 2. This is Ramasipili now confirming that he will only be representing Bongani Ntanzi, who's accused number 2 for the matter of the trial within a trial. And he further said that he put things into perspective and it was a legal aid instruction. Therefore, he will have to take measures to inform legal aid about what had transpired. So the judge asked accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, whether he reinstates or confirms the mandate of Mr. Ramasipili, and Ntanzi said yes, there's nothing that has changed. So yes, the headlines were that accused number 1, Muzi Sbiya, had terminated the services of his instructing attorney, Mr. Ramasipili, and now he'll be represented by co-counsel Thulani Mngomezulu. So this means that even with the main trial, Mngomezulu will still be continuing to represent Mr. Sbiya. So the judge asked Mr. Mngomezulu what is the way forward since the matter was postponed for argument in the trial within a trial. And Mngomezulu said that he has started with the heads of argument before Mr. BALOYI made his heads of argument. And he said that he got interrupted in the process up until he said that he cannot involve himself in the matter if he's not going to be paid. So the final decision that was made on Friday, when it was confirmed, when he confirmed with legal aid that they would not be paying him, he said that he was not finished with his heads, and that accused number 2 prior to that, point number 2 prior to that, there was a conversation between his colleagues as per the instruction of Mr. Sbiya that there are certain witnesses that he intended to call, and now this instruction as it stands, he instructs me that I must bring an application to reopen the defense's case on behalf and call the witnesses that he intends to call. But then the judge asked him how many witnesses is he going to call, and Mngomezulu said according to his instruction and the discussion that they had, it relates to the officers from the SAPS, and he said that he was told that they would have to be subpoenaed, but indicated that those witnesses, when he consulted them, they said they couldn't wait, or he said that they couldn't wait 14 days to be subpoenaed at any given stage this week. So if the court may so direct, and they may come in court and give that evidence. And then the judge asked, who are those witnesses? You're telling me about SAPS. What is that? And Mngomezulu was like, in this case, we have Colonel Lishabane, General Sbiya, and Warrant Officer Makhubo. So those are the 3 police officers, the ones that Zungu was testifying about. But however, the Zungu testimony and the trial within a trial are not related. Here,
Zungu never came to trial.
No, he wasn't in trial within a trial. But here it's more for Mr. Sbiya, because Mr. Sbiya was in the company of these people at some point when he got arrested in 2019. So the judge asked Mr. BALOYI for a comment on the application for the reopening of accused number 1's case. And BALOYI said, my lord, this is a very unsatisfactory state of affairs. The English, my God. Limla George. From George himself. We have progressed to a state where heads must be filed and the matter must be argued today. And we hear that the defense wants to reopen the case. They have not even consulted with the witnesses. They don't even know whether those witnesses are. And the judge said, from what I understand, Mr. Mngomezulu consulted with those witnesses. Mngomezulu said that he has consulted with the witnesses except for General Sbiya. So he only consulted with the two. So the judge said, how many years did he need to consult? And Mngomezulu said that he does not need that much as long as they can secure the attendance of these witnesses in court from Thursday onwards. And BALOYI said that they are busy with the trial within a trial. What the contribution of those witnesses will be regarding the admissibility of the statements that are in dispute remains to be seen. I'm like, the shade. The shade of it all. So he's literally saying that he doesn't understand why Mr. Mngomezulu is asking for those witnesses to come and testify in the trial within a trial, because in the trial within a trial, what is in dispute is the confessions. So he wants to confine Mngomezulu to only those confessions. And I remember when he tried to state after the evidence in chief of Mr. Sbiya in the trial within a trial that he would be calling Warrant Officer Makhubo. Something happened there. BALOYI objected, and his objection was kind of taken. I don't know if you guys remember, but it didn't make sense, the objection. And then Mr. Mngomezulu just sat down and let it go. And I was kind of feeling a little bit upset with it. Like, why didn't you fight? Why are you not fighting? Why are you not fighting harder? Why are you not fighting harder? But then I guess he had time to think about it, and he thought about it. And now we are here where he's going to subpoena him. And he said, we're still going back to the main case. And if the defense wants to call those witnesses in the main case, then they are at liberty to do so.
Or you
Advocate
might
Judge
call
BALOYI
them
said.
first to an BALOYI. It's better they are called by the defense now.
But their names have not been mentioned anywhere in the trial within a trial. It's unclear as to what their contribution will be. They have been mentioned by Mr. Sbiya. But remember, in this court, what Mr. Sbiya says is neither here or there. It's neither here or there. It's like they close. I'm sure you saw with the cross-examination of Sibanda that he doesn't really listen to what the accused have to say. It's neither here or there. What they say, they don't listen to them. So
it was a good move for Sbiya to actually mention and these three names. And it does actually, if you ask me, have an impact on a trial within a trial, because these people, they must tell us, what did Sbiya say when they were on that panel? Did he say he admitted to this case?
I would like to know, because Warrant Officer Makhubo is the only one that has been mentioned to say, I don't know.
So it brings a very nice taste of the case, because if, for example, General Sbiya supports the line of Kininda and the rest and say that he did, and then Makhubo comes and say no, he did not, that's a different twist. So they must come, and the men which are going to come, it's very exciting. They only have one chance of saying whether this man was in front of them or at some point, and did he talk about the case? Did he say the case was actually something that is admitting to he did it or not?
And as for the instruction, a means test would have been done at the beginning. And accused number 1 would have qualified for legal aid based on the means test. Now we hear that the uncle will come with the funds. As to why this has not happened up to this point and whether that will in fact eventuate is very doubtful. This is Advocate George BALOYI. And the suggestion would be, my lord, that we perhaps postpone the case just for a few days, and the issue of Mr. Mngomezulu being placed in the funds is sorted out, as well as the availability of those witnesses as to whether they are prepared to testify for the defense, and we can maybe take it from there. The judge asked the rest of the defense counsel for their contributions, and Mr. Ngumalo said that he would like to transverse the defense for accused number 1, but as they had discussed at some point, I think it was 2 weeks ago, he said, we discussed that these witnesses were necessary for the defense case, but there was a sudden change of events. If Mr. Mngomezulu feels that it is necessary that these witnesses be called, then he should be given the opportunity to consult.
Yes.
And Mshololo said that she's in the same position even with herself, because they had agreed that those witnesses would be called in the main trial. However, if the decision of accused number 1 is to use them now, we don't know what it is that he wants to use them for.
The fact that they were called in a trial within the trial does not exclude them now from the main trial. Mngomezulu is going for a juggle. He just wants to switch this thing off.
So they can still be called in the main trial, even after they've been called in the trial within a trial.
The same way, Kinindi is still going to come back.
Yes, Kinindi is still going to come back in the main trial. So,
and what is interesting and nice about this is that what Mngomezulu has done is sort of put these people on their side. That's like he's booking them in advance. Because the state, to mess this thing up, can literally just call these people and they come and testify on behalf of the state. And you know that's a different story.
Yeah. And it's still going to have a postponement, and they were still going to need time to prepare, and then they will not really... we've seen. So, yes.
And probably they'll sing differently.
Yeah. Well, Munyeki was standing in for Advocate Mnisi. He said that he's unable to take a position, but the judge refused for him to say that. He said that you can't stand in for somebody and not be able to, Then Munyeki eventually said that he will abide by the decision taken by his colleagues. While the judge said to Mr. Mngomezulu, what is the leading case regarding postponement? What must you show? And Mngomezulu said a good cause, prejudice. There be no prejudice on the part of the other party. In this case, my lord, the right of the accused to a fair trial. The state has led 18 witnesses, and those witnesses were afforded an opportunity. You elicit evidence, and his right to a fair trial in terms of the Constitution should be afforded to accused number 1, as it may, if the court is not inclined to grant him the opportunity to not be in the interest of justice. So a good cause shown. There was a good reason for Mr. Sbiya to give evidence that for the first time he was arrested and accused, it was for the death of Senzo Meyiwa, and it was on the 19th of March in 2019. So this is what they're coming to testify on, is the fact that Mr. Sbiya testified that the first time he was arrested in March 2019, he was arrested for the Senzo Meyiwa case.
Yes.
So the judge said, are you giving evidence, sir? And Mngomezulu said that I'm not leading evidence.
He asked. He wanted the context.
Yes.
As to what is the direction.
He did. And then after it's given, he's like, are you giving evidence? Well, it is what it is, man. I'm very happy, okay? And the judge said, then what are you doing? And Mngomezulu said, that's good cause shown. I must show the court that what are these witnesses expected to give evidence on. And the judge said, no, I will grant the postponement, but you can't show good cause by closing the case. This court granted you the permission or the consent to call that very witness. Do you remember? We all remember. But it was shut down, Akere. There was an objection, a very strong objection that came from the state. I remember. And then he sat down and he needed to think about it because that objection was taken even. I think it was. Was it taken?
Yeah, it was.
And then he had to sit down and really think like, oh, they really don't want me to call Warrant Officer Makhubo, hey? They really don't want that, don't they?
I think also Warrant Officer Makhubo could have been saying, it's better if you subpoena me. That's my thinking. Because and then if you subpoena me, then I'm gonna be forced to come there, and I'm gonna also be forced now to tell what I want to say. It's not out of my will, considering the level of this case, that I just decided to come.
And we've seen with the witnesses of no color, especially the doctor who performed the autopsy. I was shocked to find out that he was also subpoenaed. You know.
So it makes things easier because he's gonna come and say what he needs to say and go. And it's not gonna be like he volunteered to come.
And you said to me that you needed indulgence, and I gave you 3 days, including 2 days for the weekend. Then you came back and said that you discussed with your client, blah, blah, blah. You decided to close number one's case.
But do you now not see that the circumstances have changed? At the time, he was representing 2 people.
Yes.
Now he comes as a person who's representing one accused who got extra instructions. Now, is he now supposed to dwell on what happened as he was representing accused number 1 and 2? No. He must take the instruction of accused number 1 independently.
Yes.
Because the decision that might have been taken when he was representing 2 accused,
it was
not independent of accused number 2. So there was a different approach. So this approach is such that as a representative of accused number 1.
So here I kind of got the impression that what Mngomezulu was quoting perhaps is not what the judge wanted, because he wanted him to quote the case, right? He wanted him to quote the case. And Mngomezulu went on to quote the rules of how a person should be represented when it comes to a postponement. He clearly was not happy with that answer, and he told him to read a case by Mahomet. It's a South African West Namibian case about postponements. And Mngomezulu said that he will check it. Okay, so Judge Ratamkwetleng said that the court will bend backwards to accommodate the defense to consult and finish off its heads of argument by Wednesday, because he does not want to be accused of having led an unfair trial. But he judge lisgwebelesa again isikhathi lesi besifuna ukubiza ama witness.
Do you see that? You see that part which is saying that we are ignoring what you are submitting. Heads of arguments are not what Mngomezulu is asking for. Mngomezulu is asking for reopening of this
the case.
Trial within trial.
Yes. Reopening of the trial within a trial. So a translation for that, he was saying that he doesn't want them to come back and say that the judge unfairly convicted them. They wanted to call witnesses, but he refused.
I don't understand why this is again, because what you are saying is taking one position and saying that you have taken a position, you just want to make sure that the loopholes are closed. That's a very stupid thing to say, if you ask me. That's a very, from the seasoned judge, as you always claim that you are, for you to actually make such examples that are seemingly, and in fact one can prove, because once then you give judgment, one can prove that at the time of even testifying, you had already taken a position. Through your examples, you were showing that you are in a certain direction. You are going in a certain direction. So it is hard for one to say that you were not biased. One can submit that you were biased. One can submit that you probably were mandated to take a certain decision, come hell or high water, by such examples, because you have never made an example of saying that I don't want, when I acquit these people, for someone or the state to come and say, hey, but you have always said, I don't want to, if for someone to come and say, hey. Do you understand? That's a position, if you ask me.
And we still have people that think we're too hard on the judge, or that it's these kind of comments right here.
Hey, you're making comments that are telling us that people who are just watching, they have taken a position. You just want to fulfill this position by allowing people to close those loopholes, and then from there, your judgment is given as it is, as you've been making examples of. Because we are not saying, in case, most of the time we are saying, I don't want people to come and say, hey, let's judge this Kwebele Sage. Kwebele Umuntu Sage is basically doing so with that biasness. In a sense, you have taken a certain position.
You've already made up your mind.
You are saying that you don't want people to say that.
That you already
were
have
biased.
A
yes.
Before you.
It's doing it's doing it unfair. It's giving a judgment without following the procedures that are correct, and then doing it in that manner which is unfair. Ukwebela umuntu esakeni.
I've been in a situation where I felt like, these people have made up their minds about me.
Yes.
I've been under such circumstances where I feel like these people have already taken a decision. I'm just here for protocol.
Yeah.
So that they can check off that, we
did go through the process of 1, 2, 3.
Yes. But they've already made up their decision. They're not even going to attest my argument or how I plan to defend myself.
Yes.
So it happens where you walk in and you feel like the decision has already been made. They're just happy that you showed up so that they can, go on with the process that they wanted to go on with. So court adjourned to Wednesday, and the judge said that that's enough time for Mr. Mngomezulu to consult his witnesses and prepare for the heads of argument. So that was pretty much it, guys, for today.
So I'm surprised by this thing of heads of argument. Is the judge saying that we are disregarding
all those witnesses? Yeah, that's what it seems like. He's creating that impression that
or the heads of argument he was talking about is heads of argument as to why the reopening should happen.
But he was not clear in that. He's talking as if he's still talking of the heads of argument that were supposed to be presented before Mngomezulu asked for the reopening.
I'll give him a benefit of doubt. I think that on Wednesday they are going to come with heads of arguments to say why should this case be reopened, what could cause, and what is the damage if it's not reopened. That's the heads of argument we're expecting on Wednesday, not the one of the trial within the trial being finished or closed.
But it didn't sound like that. It sounded
no, that's what he was saying. That's what
The
you are
heads
saying.
of-
I can safely say you are saying that.
Okay.
The heads of arguments are on the
For the
basis
reopening of the case.
of the new submission, new development.
Okay.
To say that we are reopening this case because of 1, 2, 3.
Okay. We'll take it that is what he meant for now.
So that's basically what he's saying. Please like the video. And again, thank you for joining us. As I said, when we decide to open the lines, it should be that we talk
Please,
about
guys,
what happened to this case.
let
Do not
us-
ask us about what happened outside this case. Don't ask us if
We
you heard
don't
something.
know.
We don't know. If you heard something that you were watching somewhere, I don't know, people watch things. If you were watching things somewhere and then you feel like we should clarify it, I think this is the wrong platform. This platform today, when we open it, it was mainly for these proceedings that were happening with Senzo Meyiwa's case, the
Yes.
trial within a trial. The other comments, we would like to recuse ourselves and not comment in anything that is outside this case. Whether
Yes.
it's about someone who's part of the case or not, we really do not care. We are not going to comment on that. And that is when we open the line, you should focus
We don't know.
on what happened to this case. And we're doing that on purpose because we are not journalists, some of us. We are just people who are commenting on this case and would like to
We
keep
are
it
of
at that.
public opinion.
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
are not investigative journalists. We're not journalists at all. We're just people like yourselves who are interested in
And I'm saying this because some people have started asking questions on WhatsApp and whatnot. I'm just saying in advance that we are not going to answer. We're not going to
We
be
don't know.
drawn into such. We remain people who are using
Asazi lutho.
public stuff as we are using SABC to get these proceedings, and we comment on that
Yes, please.
because
Hayi kabi.
one,
I
we
don't
do
have
not want to
answers.
become part of the case. We are outside this case.
Yes, and we'd like to present that view as well, the view of the court of public opinion. We don't want to be like now we know the inside and the intricacies of the inside network of what's happening. We don't know. We don't
So,
know.
on the other side, if you look at what Ndanzi has been trying to say about Mngomezulu, I think this is good for Mngomezulu. And also the noise.
That time when he was saying that Mr. Mngomezulu was the one talking of himself off script by himself, he's not represent. He made it seem like Mr. Mngomezulu was not representing him in how he
It
was
sounded
answering
like
the questions.
So
he
this is a good move.
for Mr. Mngomezulu.
They moved well, and I'm sure it's something that they sat down and talked about and said no, because there is basically nothing that you can extract from dance. There's nothing other than where they were, and then the manner in which it was presented when he was given a chance. It showed it's somewhere somehow he would be found wandering when he's pressurized. So
Yes.
it's good not to say that he was lying. We totally believe. I believe
Yes,
what
his
Dan was
version,
saying, but
yes.
I think the presentation of how
it
it
was a
happened when he
mess.
was supposed now he was the one talking. It sort of left one wondering, and many people saying a lot of things. I still believe that
Yes,
this
the
move.
people who are opposing the defense were saying that, and Tanzi is denying his lawyer. Is we even had a disagreement of how the journalist was kind of putting it, and it was because of how Ntanzi was presenting his argument. Maybe he didn't know how to quite say it, but how he said it, it seemed like Mr. Mngomezulu was just saying things out of his head without consulting him. It was a bad look. Okay. It was a bad look, and Mr. Mngomezulu, I don't know how he was gonna get out of that, but it seemed like
if you believe it or not, if Sbiya wins this one, everyone wins.
yes.
So there's nothing wrong. This is just pulling one leg. One card that you could have pulled at the. I think you couldn't have pulled it there at the right time, because what is now happening here as an independent observer, you can see that what is happening is literally saying, after all these testimonies and whatnot, now let me pull one card that will come and change the whole game.
And it is changing the game.
Whoever thought about this is smart.
Very smart.
And it had to be someone who's been doing this thing for years. I'm not saying Mngomezulu, I'm not giving Mngomezulu. Maybe Ramsibid is part of it, because they've been working together. There's no bad blood as it happened previously, but in this case there's no bad blood between the two.
No.
I would like to believe. So you could see Mngomezulu was not as hardcore as he came. We even questioned why Mngomezulu was not as hardcore.
Yes.
Now hearing that he was not
getting
paid, he was going through all these things, and now being dragged to court for his personal things that happened, and they were not attended to at the time. Now they are attended to. I think payment is something that would actually make it easier for him to represent, and maybe even the issue of not calling some of these witnesses, because he's had in some of cross-examination when he's asking Sbiya, is your father available? That is someone who was preparing to call people. That is someone who was preparing to call people to come and testify. That yes, the police came at home. They didn't have a warrant of search, but they did search. And I saw my son, such. And I believe maybe the reopening is not only limited to those three. It is now a matter of doing it the right way.
Yes. I was not happy with how they closed it.
Yeah, but what did you do as a lawyer?
Yeah, the situation was tricky.
What did you do as a lawyer? Wouldn't you lose energy? You are fighting for someone, and now things are happening in your life, and all of a sudden, you're also hearing that no one's going to pay you. What did you do?
Sit down and think.
Or you just say, let me just close this thing and finish and go.
Yeah.
And that's what the so-called uncle saved us from. They said, no, you're not done. I'll pay for you. Go. That got new energy and new focus. Now Mngomezulu can consult with one person, focus on that one person.
Hi, we can open the lines. And guys, don't forget, please.
The lines are open.
If you are just new and you stumbled upon the live, we don't have answers for everything else that's happening outside of this platform. So don't ask us. We don't know. We cannot verify or not verify. We don't know anything, okay? We're just a court of public opinion, and we deliberate on what is already on the public platforms, what's already been released for us to commentate on, and not specifically the investigations of other platforms that are not mainstream. We don't know what's happening. We don't have answers. Thank you.
Zanzi, hello.
Mr. No, Emily.
Yebo.
Hi, sir, how are you?
How are you people doing?
We're
good.
good.
We're good. And you?
Hey, I'm good, man. Hey, I'm listening to you. I caught you late, but this case of Senzo Meyiwa, I haven't been following it. I lost interest like I think 6 months ago.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome.
It's a circus within a mystery, within a puzzle. And for me, conclusion, Aizukamuga, because of, I think a lot of people are compromised within the system. Yeah, it's either the first people who were investigating this issue are the police or the prosecutors are compromised. You know, you can't have a case which seemingly has no forward. You know, I don't think this case seems to be moving. You just end up going deeper and deeper, but uncovering nothing which is worth substance for me. I've just lost interest. I thought you were gonna talk about, maybe you're gonna talk about later, is the AKA's issue and AKA the guys who were found about AKA.
So you want that?
Yeah, that's the one I want to talk. I want to hear your guys' opinion about and what you think is going on there.
Mr. Anonymous.
I think we have started talking about it, but look, we will cover it slowly, but in our opinion, I think we have given a bit of opinion. We are still gonna give more opinion, but if you lose interest in this one, I think you might even lose more interest on AKA eventually. That's my opinion.
For me, this case just shows a lot of mismanagement, and the system is not being run properly. And there are no people guarding the people who are guarding us. There are no people who are checking the police are doing a proper job. There are no people who are reviewing if the prosecutors are doing a proper job. You know, this for me, this is just a clear case of the system is broken somewhere somehow, and it needs major fixing. The ANC is not going to fix it. I don't think they are capable, nor are they interested. Those people are interested in something else, but not governing this country. We just need new people to come in, go and fix up the system, because, you know, when people cannot get justice from the state, and they stop believing the state is capable of giving justice, you're going to have a lot of kangaroo courts. You're going to have people taking the law into their hands, having hitmen. It's going to be a whole mess. So we really have to, as a citizen, we just have to be awake, ask a lot of questions of our government, and always just check up what the government is doing a proper job. You know, first things, this case had gone like cold in a way, because people, it was just a sideshow until what is this Bure thing? This Bure group took it over. Yes, AfriForum picked it up and put a spotlight. Then people are gained interest. But otherwise, it's just, for me, a perfect example of what is the major things wrong. So that's my fair my 2 cents for the day.
Yeah. Oh.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night.
Good night.
Right. Yes. Someone wrote on WhatsApp that the argument on Wednesday is on whether the defense case should be reopened or not. Too. I hope Mngomezulu will prepare and file a formal application rather than just argue and be accused of giving evidence himself. The judge, that's number 3, the judge never granted the chance to reopen the case. He entertained the idea of reopening both the prosecution and the defense case. And number 4, the judge must dispense the justice without fee and favor. He repeatedly says he does not want to be accused of presiding over an unfair trial. It shows that whatever he does is influenced by the thoughts of the people who accuse him of being unfair. He is not being true to his oath. And that is someone who wrote on WhatsApp. You can still call and also like the video, guys. And we can still have this conversation. And the caller is correct in saying that we are at a position or a compromised position as a country where our people who are supposed to be, can you imagine, people who are supposed to protect you, they are not governed in the right way. So that leads to an ungovernable country. Zanzi, hello.
Hey, Mr. Noliman.
Say, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Say.
I'm good. Emily, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You're speaking to TV So.
Yes.
Tidiso.
Yeah, you know what, Mr. Anonymous? I think it's a good move by the defense, especially for accuse 1 and 2.
Yes.
Solemnly because of Mngomezulu will be now sharper like before he came in the case. Yeah, so it's a good move. And again, another thing that we must know is here we've got the system fighting a system. We've got the cops fighting cops.
Yes.
Or should I say bad cops fighting good cops, vice versa. Because of when who's this guy? When Mngomezulu said to Rata that the state called 18 witnesses, and in those 18 witnesses, majority of those guys were cops. So why is it hard now? Why now the defense is calling cops? BALOYI starts wanting to cry. And I could see that this man was not happy. Like he was definitely not happy. And another thing, those 3 people that are going to be testifying, they've been there in the inception of this case.
Yes.
I'm not sure how are they going to assist the defense, but I'm definitely sure that because of, remember, Sbiya has always maintained, when I say Sbiya, I'm referring to General Sbiya.
Yes.
Has always maintained that he was never part of the case.
Yes.
But yet, the people who were there in the scene, they said this man was also there. And yet he denied being part of the case.
Yes. Yes.
And then also when you remember when Zungu testified, he said that Sbiya was also there with General Lishabani, with Makhubo, with the other general. I forgot the other general.
Yes. Yes.
He was there, and then Ramusipili said that Sbiya was not supposed to be there, as he had been. Remember, he was dismissed by SARS.
Yes.
On during that year. He only came back, I think, in 2020 or 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
2021.
When he won the 2021, when he won the labor court, the case, yes, at the labor court.
Yes.
So it will be interesting to see what is he going to be saying about the case. And there's been very, let me say, he's also this is also his time to clear a cloud, a dark cloud that is hanging over him with those allegations. I'm not going to mention them. With the allegations of whatever.
Yeah.
That will be his opportunity to redeem himself, because of, remember, he's the number 2 cop in South Africa. He's the Deputy National Commissioner.
Yes.
And by the case, when the case was happening, he was head of Hawks in GP. I'm not sure if you still remember.
I remember.
He was the head of Hawks. He was the head of Hawks in GP. So I would love to see how is the man going to redeem himself on this one.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure about. Yeah, it would be very interesting. And then also remember that Makhubo has been there in the inception of the case also. And then Makhubo was also on the same unit as Shadrach Sbiya, with being Makhubo being with the Hawks. So it will be interesting to see what the angle of the testimonies will be.
Yes.
And another aspect that I want to add is, I think last time you spoke about the team Gininda having division or cracks. You remember when you said when Rata asked Mogale where is he staying while he was testifying, he said he was staying at his house. And then whereas we know that the rest of the team were staying in Pretoria Hotel.
Yeah.
Whatever hotel. Yeah, somewhere in Pretoria. So it's now, I'm now getting vibes that it's a segui division and you know we're going to see some angazi movie or with that. I mean, I don't have a problem, even if the confessions they can be admitted.
Yeah.
It does not necessarily mean that these guys are guilty.
Yes.
They can still win a case because of, if the state has, remember in terms of the law, the state has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that these guys are the ones that committed the felony or the elimination of Senzo Meyiwa.
Yes.
So even if we were to see that, it would be very interesting on that to see if those guys that really committed the felony. So we're hoping to see that. And another thing is when it comes to you remember when Mukhale, what's that? Mukhola? No, not Mukhola. No, not the lady, the man, Mokhane. Yeah, Mokhane. It's just that many people, they didn't pick it up that there was a division within that camp because of, there were some questions that were being asked to Mokhane, and he kept on saying Buchishan Gininda, Utlatla Petula, Buchishan Gininda. So I picked up there, these guys, it means that they are no longer a team. It's just that it was unfortunate that it was going to be hard for Mokhane to speak the truth or to speak what actually transpired in this case. Because of if he's going to speak this, remember he's going to be alone in the wilderness.
Yes.
But he kept throwing Ukininda under the bus. Like not necessarily straightforward, but like on in a simple way, different. Yeah. So we just want to see what's going to happen on Wednesday. I'm hoping that even if, because I know with Makhubo, that case, if he can speak what we expected him to speak, this case is done and dusted. It must be just thrown in the bin because of, he's going to say whatever that he wants to say. And another thing, Mr. Anonymous, I'm not sure if you guys are aware that there's a war between SAPS and Hawks, if you guys are aware.
I'm not aware.
Who's this guy, the former IP director, Robert McBride.
Uh-huh.
Robert McBride once went to the state capture and explained that SAPS and the Hawks are fighting, especially when it comes to issue of high-profile cases and the narcotics busting. Let me just use the narcotics busting because of both of them. If they can hear that there's somebody who's been busted for narcotics, they are rushing, they are racing to see who's gonna get there first and confiscate. So in this way, even in this case, it's gonna be the same with that because it's gonna be cops versus cops.
Yeah.
So that will also give Rata a headache on his ruling for the admissibility of the confessions, because of it's gonna be, as this guy said, it's gonna be the issue of credibility. Who's more credible? Who's less credible?
Yeah.
This is gonna be the top cops. This is the junior cops. Or is it gonna be about the issue of law and fairness? So, okay, guys, thank you. That was my input. Let's give others a chance.
Thank you.
The interesting part is that one of the hotel. You remember the car was parked in a hotel? I didn't know that they were chilling in that hotel. Did you know?
Which hotel?
Allegedly, there was a part where the car went into a certain flat or something like that.
Which car?
The same car, AVL.
Oh, the Fortuna.
The Fortuna. I think that's there. Yeah. So
it
it's
went
something
to a Pretoria hall.
Allegedly. It sounds that he was saying they were chilling there, dealing with the case. So I guess they were designated in a certain area. That's what it sounds like. That's why, if you ask me, that's why we are seeing these lawyers that are escorting. I mean, these police that are escorting, not changing. They don't change shift, nothing like that. I mean, it's alleged, obviously.
It is quite strange that there was never like. I thought in the police, shift.
Yes, shift you being a shift. All the time day, when they were needed, they are there.
You understand? So 2 sets of people would have been responsible for guarding the accused, where there be those who get in during the day and those who get in during the night. But in this instance, it was just.
It's very interesting, actually. The coming also of Makhubo that you touched on it, because from where we stand and from where we are observing as the public opinion people, it seems as if Warrant Officer Makhubo is on a different camp. Yes, that's what Patrick is saying here. When it comes to Guinea and Warrant Officer Makhubo, it's if you ask me, different camps. And I mean, Makhubo is already from a certain case that was moving the same way as Mngomezulu's case, if you ask me. It's a case that...
It was an interesting case.
Interesting case. We talked about it. It came out of nowhere. And it came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden he found himself having to defend himself as much as he could, and he did successfully.
Yes, he was saved by a certain witness who told the truth.
It's like, yes, luckily there are people like that. Now it's that time. You know, if you ask me, it's like payback time. Same as, like, there's too much paybacks in this case, in the trial. If you look, Mngomezulu is a payback time for not being paid. The refusal, which, if you ask me, they shot themselves on the foot, because now they cannot control him. And after these cases that now that we are seeing coming through to attack him, that's my opinion. And I'm just saying, obviously the cases are attacking you. It now looks like he's ready to unleash also the man and the direction that is coming on. So, and then that's why I'm saying I don't think Makhubo would refuse to come. I don't think Makhubo would need to be subpoenaed, but they said, yeah, let us just use that route.
Yes.
So that we don't look like we are here to avenge or something like that. That's my thinking.
You could be onto something.
Because, honestly speaking, a wounded gazelle is a dangerous one.
Wounded gazelle.
It's a dangerous one. They are seemingly wounded, if you ask me. And now they are given a chance to redeem themselves.
That's it.
I think
That's a
guys,
summary.
there's too much fight in this case. Who's who, and by no George in our corner is fighting his battles. And now that you've heard some of the things being said, some cops must be arrested in 375 and certain people must be arrested. Now you see a different story. It's a different ball game. But let us say to you, because I think you guys, you are done also calling. I think for me, that would be it.
Madam Mngomezulu is like advocate D for the... It's a comment I'm seeing.
Yeah, if someone is fighting you...
He wants the case to... end.
If something is attacking you, you attack back. And if you can hit the proper spot, do that. And I'm here for it. If you ask me, I'm here for it. And I'll celebrate with you if you win. Fortunately, if you don't, they come gun blazing.
I'm happy with that decision to have witnesses. It's always backed me and rubbed me off the wrong way as to why.
Yeah, I think I did say that. For me, it seems as if Mngomezulu just wanna leave this case and be out of this case. There was too much noise also surrounding some of these accused, if you ask me. I think with Ndanzi, with Sbiya. Have you heard anything about Sbiya? Somewhere on the streets, on the background?
No.
Nothing. It's quiet. He's moving silent.
And when you're in that position, it's best you do that, because
he's not showing his hands. He's not showing his hands.
Anything you say can be used against you. Anything you say.
And there's no correcting it.
And even his testimony, it was so brilliant. Do you understand what I'm saying?
He was actually a surprise for me, if you ask. He was the surprise because I was expecting him to tremble more than Ndanzi.
I think we all thought maybe he's not as well put together emotion-wise. But then you could already see with those other court appearances, although some people chose to interpret it as him being angry and vile and seeming not to care. But you can tell that he's at an emotional level where he's kind of fed up. And that fed-upness has made him a man of few words. Yeah.
And it's helping him.
And
maybe he was a man of few words in any case.
Yes.
If you look at him, he's not a person who talks a lot.
But that has helped him to his advantage, because his testimony, to me, in my opinion, it was quite strong. With accused number 2,
and interestingly,
there was a lot of...
is helping dance.
It is going to, if he is able to
interestingly,
help himself,
it is helping dance.
Help
what has happened
well.
now that Mngomezulu is focusing on Sbiya.
Yes.
Because what was happening with dance and Mngomezulu, now it will be used less. In fact, it will be useless.
It's useless now.
Yeah. So, in a way.
After Pwasibanda hammered on it for so long, for 2 weeks and a couple of days. Or was it a couple of days? It was like 4 days. So you're saying Mr. Mngomezulu is not... is wrong for saying... Oh, they did not hammer on it. They hammered, guys.
No. I think people do not understand. If I was to give my opinion when it comes to Sbiya, I think Mngomezulu is calling Sbiya on purpose. Not to say that he's saying Sbiya is gonna say or sing what accuse one is singing.
Yes.
For the balance of forces.
Yes.
Contradictions might happen. Sbiya is there for contradictions, if you ask me. Because I believe that when Warrant Officer Makhubo comes, it's going to say something different a bit different from what Sbiya is going to say. And that is a smart move. How you can actually do away with this case. Because if those people who were in the house when this guy was arrested are contradicting themselves, then that means there's no truthfulness in this case.
Yes.
So you might as well just throw everything out.
We'll see.
Yeah, if you ask me, Sbiya, in my opinion, is not a positive witness for the other Sbiya, the accused Sbiya.
Yes, the accused.
No, it's not by all means. Even the other one who Zungu was reporting on, Lishaban, is not a positive. The only person that looks positive is
Warrant Officer
Makhubo. That would be the only positive that I can draw from this. But the two are not the people that, for me, are going to be a positive addition to Sbiya's case. But what this is going to do is to show maybe that there is lack of credibility within the police. That's basically what this is going to do and demonstrate.
Hi, guys. No more calls are coming through. I guess this is where we kind of have to say our goodbyes. And I don't know, maybe we'll see you on Wednesday. We should be able to see on Wednesday. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day.
It's a bye from me. It's a bye from me. It's a bye from Zanzi. And
It's
please
a
like
bye
the
from
video
Emily
on your way out. Give it thumbs, as you can see on the screen. It will give you thumbs. Just give it thumbs, and then I think that should be enough for us. That's all we're asking for.
Yeah, that's all we're asking you for, guys. And until the next one, it's a bye.